One of the most striking developments is Osman Bey's evolving goal. As the leader of the Kayu tribe, he has faced numerous obstacles, from Byzantine forces to Mongol threats. However, what stands out now is his shift in focus towards a larger, more strategic vision. Could this new goal indicate a departure from his previous, more personal quest for survival and revenge? Could Osman Bey be realizing that the survival of his people and the unification of the Turkish tribe requires a more visionary approach? This shift can be interpreted as a sign that Osman Bey is moving from a tribal leader fighting for the protection of his family and people to a statesman who must think beyond immediate threat. We've already seen Osman's tactical brilliance on the battlefield, but his growing desire for power and influence could mean that he's now planning on shaping the political landscape of the region. This raises the question, how will this shift affect his relationships with other characters, especially those who have aligned with or against him in the past? We've seen Osman form alliances with other Turkish beyliks and influential figures, but as his ambitions grow, will these alliances hold, or will betrayals and conflicts arise? Could we be witnessing the beginning of the fragmentation of these alliances as Osman's new vision begins to take shape? Or, conversely, will this push for unity create stronger, more lasting ties? What does this mean for the future of his people and their role in the larger political dynamic of the region?
As Osman Bey's ambition grows and his leadership matured, the question of trust becomes ever more central. Throughout Kuruluş Osman, trust has been a recurring theme: who can be trusted, and how betrayal plays a role in shaping the fate of individuals and nations. As we move into this new phase of Osman's story, we have to ask, how will trust factor into his evolving strategy? In the upcoming episodes, it's clear that Osman Bey will have to rely on a circle of advisors, soldiers, and allies to realize his vision. However, history and human nature tell us that trust is rarely absolute. Betrayal has been woven into the very fabric of the Kuruluş Osman universe. From the treachery of Nikola and the Byzantines to the internal conflicts within the Turkish beylik, we have seen that loyalty is often fragile. What does this mean for Osman? As he seeks a larger political role, he must navigate not only external threats, but also the delicate web of relationships within his own camp. In this sense, the next episode could show us whether Osman Bey can continue to trust those closest to him, or whether cracks will begin to form within his inner circle. Is Osman becoming too reliant on those who may not share his ultimate vision? Will we see betrayals from unexpected sources as his goals change? The upcoming developments also raise a significant question about the loyalty of characters like Bala Hatun, who has stood by Osman through thick and thin. As Osman becomes more involved in politics and military strategy, will their personal relationship be tested? Can she continue to support him as he pursues his ambitious new goal, or will she begin to question his choices? Could this lead to a shift in the dynamics of their relationship, or will their bond only grow stronger? Additionally, we should consider the role of figures like Akka Hatun, who has her own agenda. Will Osman's trust in her be a liability, especially if her loyalty wavers? This adds a layer of complexity to the storyline, one where alliances aren't just formed out of mutual benefit but out of necessity. Trust may be built on common goals, but when those goals shift, trust can quickly turn into suspicion. With Osman Bey shifting his focus toward broader ambitions, the external threats surrounding him are also evolving. The Byzantine Empire and the Mongol forces have been constant obstacles for Osman and his people. But what happens when Osman's ambitions take him beyond the struggles of survival and into the realm of empire building? In the upcoming episode, it seems likely that the Byzantine Empire will remain a significant force to contend with. However, their relationship with Osman could shift in unexpected ways. The Byzantines have always been a mixed bag for Osman, sometimes adversaries, other times temporary allies, depending on the context. But with Osman aiming to establish a more organized, united Turkish force, we must ask, how will the Byzantines react to this? Will they perceive Osman as a rising threat that must be extinguished before it becomes uncontrollable? Or might they try to negotiate with him, recognizing that a united Turkish force might be a more formidable opponent than a fragmented one? Moreover, Osman's push for a larger role in the region could spark new conflicts with the Mongols. Historically, the Mongols have sought to dominate the region, and they may see Osman's growing influence as a direct challenge to their authority. As we know from previous seasons, the Mongols are not easily deterred, and their ruthlessness is one of the defining features of their character in the series. How will Osman navigate this new threat? Will his diplomatic skills be enough to keep the Mongols at bay, or will the Mongol forces begin to target Osman more directly? Osman's response to these threats will likely shape the trajectory of the upcoming episode. Will he focus on military confrontation, or will he employ strategic alliances to deal with the external pressure? It's possible that the Mongol threat could bring Osman and the Byzantine forces back into a temporary alliance of convenience, but that raises another question. Will Osman trust the Byzantines enough to work with them, or will their past betrayals make him wary of such an alliance? We also need to consider how Osman's new ambitions will impact his relations with his warriors and tribal members. As his goals grow, it's possible that Osman's strategies will become more aggressive, focusing on territorial expansion and securing resources. This might not sit well with all of his followers. Could this create a rift between Osman and his warriors, especially those who are more concerned with maintaining peace and stability rather than expanding power? What sacrifices might be required from Osman's people to realize his vision, and how will they react to these demands? As Osman Bey strives to achieve greater power and influence, we must not overlook the personal costs that might come with such a transformation. His journey thus far has been filled with personal struggle, balancing his duty as a leader with his loyalty to his family and his growing role in the Turkish unity movement. However, with his ambitions expanding, the question arises, can Osman maintain his humanity as he moves toward his new goals, or will the weight of his vision lead to personal sacrifices that could threaten everything he holds dear? One of the most poignant aspects of Osman's character has always been his connection to his people, especially his family. From his relationship with his father, Ertugrul Bey, to his interactions with his wife Bala Hatun, Osman's sense of duty has always been balanced with deep emotional ties. However, as his political aspirations grow, these personal relationships could be tested. Will Osman find it difficult to balance his family's interests with the broader needs of his tribe? Will his decisions begin to alienate those closest to him, particularly as his focus shifts towards statecraft and military power? A key moment to consider in the upcoming episodes is how Osman's evolving leadership style might clash with his personal values. His ability to make difficult decisions for the greater good has been a defining trait, but we must ask, will these decisions ever push Osman to the point of moral compromise? In the struggle for power, will he be forced to make choices that go against the values that have guided him thus far? We've seen in history that leaders often have to sacrifice their personal beliefs to achieve their political goals. Will Osman face this same challenge? How will he navigate the fine line between being a compassionate leader and a ruthless one? There is also the matter of Osman's growing influence over the Ki tribe. As he takes on a more powerful role, it's possible that some members of his tribe will begin to question his method. Could internal dissent start to take root? We've seen characters like Bamsi Bey and the ever-loyal Turgut Bey remain by Osman's side, but will they always agree with his approach? When his decisions become more politically motivated, will they still follow him? Or will they begin to question whether he is putting personal power above the well-being of his people? Another critical aspect to examine is the impact Osman's ambitions will have on his relationship with his enemy, both internal and external. As Osman moves closer to his goal of unifying the Turkish Beyliks and expanding his territory, will his opposition intensify? Could we see new, unforeseen adversaries rising to challenge him? The internal dynamics of the Turkish tribes are far from settled, and as Osman's vision takes shape, old alliances might be tested, and new rivalries might emerge. Moreover, how will Osman handle the pressure of being a leader with larger ambition? He has always had a certain resilience, but the burden of leadership can weigh heavily, especially when it demands sacrifice from those around him. Will the cost of power and ambition break Osman, or will it solidify his place as one of the great leaders in history?